Okay, welcome everyone. This is Michael Dorsey here in Alpharetta, Georgia. Just want to welcome everybody to our weekly personal development Zoom. Very excited to have you. Going to share a couple things with you as we get going. One of the books that we're going to be covering, and let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see that. Let me see, more share. Where's the share my screen button here? It's going to be, it's Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. A lot of us have read it before, but I think it's always good to revisit, especially in the um, when we are going through change in life and stuff. I think it's important for each and every one of us to know, adapting to change is one of the big things. Um, Let me see. I'm sorry. I'm just looking for the button here because I shrink down my windows. Here we go. All right, share, and then boom. So starting next week, what we're going to do, if you would, in between now and then, is make sure you get a copy of Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson, and really talks about, adapting to change. Because if anything is normal in life, is that everything changes, right? So make sure you get a copy of Who Moved My Cheese. I'll go ahead and send that out as well, and I will also post the recording of this video as well, so people can see it and share it as we get going. But definitely a great book. It helps out each and every one of us, learn how to adapt to change. Gives us good ideas. Tonight, I want to talk about consistency. There's nothing more important in success and really just about anything you want to accomplish in life than consistency and discipline. So how to stay consistent and disciplined really is important. And there's just a few thoughts that I had and some things that I go through my journals of all the notes I've taken from so many great speakers over the years. And it's really cool how some things are very repetitious because the fundamentals of success are the fundamentals of success, right? I mean, they don't change. And anybody that says they have a different way or a new way, you got to kind of look at them sideways and say, well, there's one true way to be successful long term, and really that's being consistent and being disciplined and really focused on whatever goal it is you're setting for yourself, because each goal that we have are personal. So the first key, I would say, or the first step would be to set clear goals for you, right? And I talked about this on an earlier video that we have on the YouTube channel about SMART goals, SMART. And all that stands for is that they're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant to your goals and what you want to accomplish, and they have a time limit on them. So you set them and you set a time limit to be able to accomplish them. But you break down any of your big goals that you have down to smaller, manageable, tasks. If you want to maintain that motivation and focus, it helps you to do that by not looking at the whole big picture. You want to look at the small steps in the process. And I think that I know our success is found in our daily routine. So key number two would be develop a routine, right? Having a regular daily routine that that aligns with your purpose and your priorities and your goals is really important, because it allows you to build that muscle. It allows you to build that consistency, to become successful and accomplish what it is you're looking to accomplish. So consistent routines help create that discipline over time by, automatically accomplishing these essential tasks that you want to accomplish, because you just get used to doing the same thing over and over. And sometimes, I know in our business, it's so simple that sometimes it's easy to overlook it. But the basics are the basics, and you have to master the mundane, right? So we have to master the mundane in order to become successful in our business. And that means just even when you get bored with something, you still do it anyways, even when you don't feel like doing it, because your routine has been established, because you know what your goals are and you have your routine in place and you're working towards it every single day, right? And so that's what we want to do, is make sure we have a really strong routine that aligns with our goals, our values, our dreams, our family goals. But everything boils down to what we do daily, because today does matter. What we do today does matter, whether we think it does or doesn't. It does make a huge difference for each and every one of us. So make sure you have that daily routine down. Even, at times I've written things down, and I do, sometimes you get into a routine, but sometimes a routine can fall into a rut if you're not accomplishing the goals that you want to accomplish. So sometimes you have to, take a step back and then realize, okay, let me review what I'm doing here so that I can make sure I'm heading and I'm accomplishing what I want to accomplish. So sometimes the routine is, you need to be adaptable, which is why we're going to talk about who moved my cheese, because being adaptable to change and being able to change your routine is also important sometimes, because you have to tweak what you're doing, in order to realign yourself with what you want to accomplish. So I would also say number 3 would be prioritize progress over perfection. Okay. Prioritizing progress over perfection, because there's no such thing as perfect, except from what I know from, is God's grace. That's the only thing I know that's perfect, but everyone's trying to be, accomplish perfection, but there's no such thing. But progress is where we need to focus. So it's like, focus on the activity and the results will come. Focus on your routine and the results will come. So, focus on making like that steady progress, even if it's small, and don't let the desire for perfection become a reason to procrastinate. Because sometimes we put things off because it's not exactly perfect. Some people say, oh, I'm going to wait until this happens in order to start having a family or get married or whatever. It's like, no, you're never really going to be ready for any things that, that happens to you. The best thing you can do is have this mindset that you're adaptable and you're agile, and you will adapt to whatever you need to adapt to in order to, kind of align yourself with what's going on at that time in your life. So, and you don't procrastinate, because as I've said before, procrastination is the assassination of your destination. So if you're putting things off, it's killing your goals, it's killing your dreams, and you need to be able to stop procrastinating. We do have a video on that one too. Number 4 would be practicing self-discipline. So training yourself to make decisions based on your goals, right? Whether they're long-term or they're short-term goals. So learn to delay immediate rewards so that you have the long-term, accomplishment. Sometimes we want it now. We live in an instant gratification society, and sometimes that overrules being patient, right? And being patient is hard, but it's important, right? So we need to make sure that we practice that self-discipline, sometimes putting things off in order to accomplish the greater good, and what comes into play here a lot of times is what other people are thinking, or what you think other people are thinking, about you. And we have to remember, as I've said before, people are 1,000 times more interested in themselves than they are in us, than you. And that's sometimes a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. You're not that important, to other people in their world, because they're important to themselves. Yes, you're important in the eyes of God. Yes, you're important to the people that you love and care about most in life. But the reality is when it comes to the overall big picture, just, stay true to yourself, right? Be very self-aware, and stay true to yourself, and you practice that self-discipline. Number 5 would be track and reflect, right? So review your progress. It's the plan, do, review process. We've talked about it many times, but reflecting always helps us stay aware of what's working and what needs adjustment, preventing you from straying off course. So make sure you do take a minute to step back and say, okay, what am I looking at here? This really worked well. This one didn't work as well. Maybe I should try to do something a little different here, or get some advice from somebody else, which is number 6, having an accountability partner. So get an accountability partner. And sometimes when you have that accountability partner, you share your goals with, you share what you're trying to accomplish. And what's really important is if they've had more success in that particular area than you, to be humble enough to be able to say, hey, listen, you've had great success. Would you mind if I ask you a couple of questions and just check in with you to make sure I'm doing what I need to do in order to get where I need to be and what I want to accomplish? Is that okay? So sometimes it's just checking your ego a little bit and just asking for help. A lot of us have a hard time asking for help. I know sometimes I do, but it's important to be able to ask for help because, none of us knows everything, right? That's why we have a community, is why it takes a village, right? So share your goals with somebody that you care about or somebody that has expertise, maybe in an area that you haven't really focused on, and don't worry about it. Just knowing somebody that, you can check in with can help reinforce that discipline, and they can hold you accountable. I think that's really important because, when you announce it, so to speak, that, hey, I want to have this house or this car or whatever it is, if it's a material thing, or I'm going to have it. I'm happy and grateful now that I have this, and that's what my goal is. And you're taking the right steps and you're doing the right activity in order to get the result. And somebody else knows about it and they're checking in with you and you're also reviewing it as well. It's going to help you stay consistent and maintain that disciplined effort and activity to get where you want to be. Number 7, also along the way, is to manage your energy. And what I mean by that is to ensure maintaining a healthy balance between work, rest, and leisure. Because sometimes, because burnout is a real thing, and burnout can break consistency. So it's important to recharge and sustain your energy levels. So yeah, sometimes it's okay to take a nap. Sometimes it's okay to take a few days and just go wind down. It's important. So manage your energy and be mindful of it, and don't apologize for it. Because sometimes when you sit back, take a look at it, relax a little bit, take a break, maybe take a long weekend, you come back recharged, and you have more energy than ever. And then you're pushing even, you're staying more consistent. It allows you to be more disciplined. Number 8, we talked a little bit about this, is to adapt and evolve. Because life changes, right? And so well, your circumstances, everything changes. So that's the only thing that doesn't change, is the fact that everything changes. So be flexible in adapting to change, and maintaining your core disciplines is crucial for that long-term consistent success towards your goals and your dreams. So let's just adapt and evolve. And then number 9, just a couple more, and I'll wrap it up and I'll open it up for comments and stuff. But number 9 is reward yourself. It kind of goes in a little along with managing your energy a little bit. Maybe you kind of combine both of those, but you reward yourself by recognizing what you have accomplished. So I've always said that how we view our accomplishments will determine how much more we accomplish. No matter how big or small they are. So, don't be afraid to pat yourself on the back, and then recognize it and reward yourself for things, even if it's just little things, things that you personally enjoy, that maybe it has nothing to do with anybody else. You enjoy it. So, you want to positively reinforce, yourself. So it helps you keep the motivation high, and it builds momentum to stay disciplined. So they always, we've heard this many times, that motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. And so you want to be motivated, to stay disciplined. So motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. I think that was from John Maxwell. But bottom line is, make sure you reward yourself. Take a minute to say, and also give yourself grace in the process. Number 10 the last one I would say, is to cultivate patience. Talked about that a minute ago. Be patient, give yourself permission to make mistakes, and give yourself permission to forgive yourself. Okay. Because nobody's perfect. And that's not what we're shooting for here. We're shooting for progress. So cultivating patience, understand that, long-term success and self-discipline take time. It's just one of those things. It's just like when you plant seeds and you're expecting a harvest, there's things that come along the way what we have to do in order for that harvest to be fruitful. And it takes time to do that. So be patient through that, and being patient allows you to stay committed to your path, without becoming, discouraged by setbacks or things of that nature. So, those are just some of the things that I wanted to share, just about being consistent and staying disciplined. For those that got on late, Just wanted to let you know, next week we'll start reviewing on October 16th. On Wednesday, same time, same channel, all that. We're going to start reviewing Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. So make sure you get a copy of the book, the audio book. It's a little one, it's an easy read. And then I think we might do Eat That Frog after that. But I always like talking about some of these things because, putting the same stuff in front of us over and over allows us to say, hey, wait a minute, I see a pattern of success here. And it's helped me, become, achieve the things that I've been able to achieve in my life. And I've had a 30-year career with Legal Shield and our company. And it's just because of the things that I learned from people that were better than me, that are better than me. And now I'm able to, share some of it because I learned it in the process. So if you guys have any comments or anything you want to share, if you would go down to reactions at the bottom and hit the raise my hand button. It's under React. There's a little heart down there. You can click on that and you can raise your hand if you want to make a comment. Okay, great. I appreciate it. Let's see. All right, let's go out to Mikkel Hancock. How are you, my friend? Open.
Doing phenomenal again, Mr. Dorsey, man. You keep turning it up, sir. You keep turning it up, brother. Thank you so much for this. I just want to hit on one thing, really. It's really one thing, but 2 points. Starting with the beginning, setting clear goals. Setting clear goals. And I think that's important because not only do we need to set clear goals, we need to set honest goals. Being honest with ourselves. And I think Brian Carruthers does a phenomenal job. He's like, look, I'm not the best looking guy in the world. When I was going to the clubs, women weren't walking up to me to the bar asking me to buy them a drink. He said, but I knew if I made enough money in Legal Shield and I brought me a Ferrari, when I pulled up, they wouldn't have a single problem. And that's exactly, he said, that was my truth. That was he was being honest with himself and just setting clear goals and being honest with yourself. And the last thing I want to hit on, and I'll probably hit on this probably every call from here on out. Bob Proctor said it best, especially when you're talking about consistency. He said, when we're born, we're naturally risk takers. We want to jump, we want to fly, we want to run, we want to climb, we want to do all of those things. But yet, because of society telling us to play it safe, most people spend their lives tiptoeing towards death, hoping to make it safely towards death.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but that's not a life that I want to live, trying to make it safely towards death. That don't sound like any fun at all. It sounds like extreme hell and boredom. Let's just be real. So I appreciate you and everything that you do for these calls because I know it takes a lot. But it's all about growing. We're the only creatures here on God's green earth that don't live up to our fullest potential. Everything else does. A tree is a tree, a dog is a dog, a cat is a cat. And we as human beings, we have the ability to change our minds to become whatever it is that we want to at the drop of a dime. And all we got to do is commit to it and be consistent. So again, Mr. Dorsey, appreciate you so much, sir. Back over into your hands.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mikkel. As I listen to you, even just over since we started these things a few months back, it's like I see that, obviously you're growing at your pace, you're reading, you're learning, you're growing, you're acting, you're taking the action to defeat any fear that you may have. And I've seen your leadership level step up. So we appreciate that. I love seeing that. And I look forward to watching your success story continue to grow. So, all right, let's stay up in North Carolina and go out to Wilmington to the great John Wynn. Over to you, my friend.
Hey, great job, Michael. Thank you. Good points, Mikhail. Just quick, one thing just really stuck out with me is I make big goals, but you just hit me right between the face. I don't make those small ones to get there,
Yeah.
I got to get better at that. I love hearing that, Michael. I've heard that before. I just don't do it. I need to do it. I need to make my daily, weekly, monthly goals. Like, I'll put the big number on there. Like I want the 250 or the 300, or, I want to, be in the top, circle of champions with the groups open. But that's good for me, and I hope it helps some other people. But tonight I'm gonna start making my daily and weekly goals instead of my yearly, and really seeing what it takes to get there. Break it down. But thanks, man. Back to
Bring
you,
it
buddy.
down. Yep. Inch by inch, it's a cinch, right? Yard by yard, it's hard. So appreciate you. Thank you. All right, let's go to, hey, Deidre Love. Over to you. You should be able to unmute.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for letting me speak. Since Dallas, I've been thinking a lot about change and just focusing on the things that I need to change and being able to adapt easily. It's funny, like literally right before the call, I had posted on Instagram and Facebook a picture of a tree that has changed colors, but all the trees around it is still green.
Yeah.
And the caption was, "When it's time for a change, be the one who embraces the new season and adapts to it quickly." Sometimes we hold on to old seasons for too long.
I love it.
And that was just, for me, that speaks to me.
Yeah.
I'm not just putting it out for everybody. I'm speaking for myself. Sometimes you hold on to old seasons for too long, and it's time for a change. So it's good that it's funny that we're going to be reading "Who Moved My Cheese" because I feel like this is the season for change.
Yeah, very much. And I appreciate that, Deidre. I appreciate you. And I'm glad that, you know, you're doing that. And it reminds me of there was a meme where a caterpillar and a butterfly are having a cup of coffee, and the caterpillar says to the butterfly, "Man, you've changed." And the butterfly goes, "Yeah, we're supposed to."
Right.
You know, and it's like, you know, I love that picture. I wish I still had it. I'm sure we could find it if we went online and found it. So, all right. Thanks, Deidre. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's go over to Mr. Jeff Ingram. You should be able to unmute.
Yes, sir. Thank you for allowing me to share, and thank you for doing this for us every week. I noticed that since I've been here, that I take my notes differently. So when I reflect back to them, I'm actually speaking to myself. As you said, manage your emotions. I write, manage my emotions. So
Yeah.
when you read it, I'm speaking to me. Prioritize your progress. I wrote, prioritize my progress. So that when I read back, I'm actually just speaking it into existence and writing it into existence at the same time. So thank you for sharing.
I love that. I appreciate that. So yeah, great comment. That's a great way of looking at things and making sure that you bring it into, you know, into reality for you. So one of the things that I would also recommend, this is just something that I do as I wrap up the call, is to a lot of us have phones, right? Well, all of us have phones. But on there's a voice memo app. And I'm not sure about I have an iPhone, so I'm not sure about Android phones, but I have affirmations on here, and each one of my affirmations are, and even my goals, I read them in that same tense where, you know, saying things like, you know, focus on my progress, focus on, you know, those things instead of, you know, saying it a different way. I want to make sure that I'm accomplishing it myself. And so what I love about that is that I read it in my own voice, even though I have my goals written out, and I read it in my voice. And so at night, and I've told you guys this, I think I've shared this before. I just put my AirPods in before I go to sleep, and I listen to it a few times, you know, of me reading positive affirmations or whatever it is I'm wanting to work on, whether it's discipline, whether it's, you know, being more confident or whatever it is. You can pick any subject you want and then read, you know, in your own voice. So your brain is listening to yourself, tell yourself, and your brain believes what you're telling it. You know, so if you got that little voice in your head that's giving you negative thoughts and stuff like that, you got to be careful that you got to be aware of it. That's what being self-aware is. It's like, if you have that little thought, it's like, oh, I can't do that. Or something, you got to say, whoa, yes, I can, you know, or whatever it is for you. So it's just being more self-aware. And I think that doing affirmations like that really helps. You know, it really does help. It's helped me in my life, and it continues to, and I still work on it every day, every single day. But that's what consistency, and that's part of my routine. You know, I wake up doing it, I go to sleep doing it. I read 10 pages of a good book. I still do it. We've done it for 30 years. Somebody told me to do that a long time ago. I still do it, and it works. And that's what has helped, you know, really lead a peaceful, successful, happy existence and life and in a good way. So, hey guys, love you, man. I appreciate you all, and we'll see you next week. And this will be up on Michael Dorsey Pro on YouTube here in the next couple of hours. So, and just, you know, spread the word. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon. All right. Take care.